You're like a circle that floats around me, keeping me safe and sound. And when I fall, you tied a rope to me. You're blessing me every day. I was down with an illusion.
Achievers, welcome to class once more. Our topic today is transportation. In today's lesson, we are going to learn the meaning of transportation and the different means of transportation. Okay, so now what is transportation? Transportation is the movement of people and goods from one place to another. Okay, transportation is the movement of people and goods from one place to another. Okay, now let's look at the meaning of means of transportation. When we say means of transportation, what do we mean? Means of transportation are the ways in which people and goods are moved from one place to the other. Okay, so means of transportation talks about how people and goods are moved from one place to the other. Okay, so now let's look at the different means of transportation. We have transportation by land, transportation by water, and transportation by air. These are the various means of transportation that we have. And also there was a mode, or there was a way people and goods were moved in time past. Okay, in the past. Now we call that the old means of transportation. And then we have some new ways that people are moved from one place to the other. We call that the new or the modern means of transportation. Okay, so the old means of transportation is the way people and goods were moved from place to place. The old means of transportation is the way people and goods were moved from place to place, and it was usually by land. Okay, it was usually by land. You can see the old means of transportation here. Okay, in the olden days, people had to walk long distances. Whenever they wanted to go anywhere, they would either walk or they ride on animals. Okay, animals like camels or donkeys. Camels, donkeys, and horses were the animals that people rode on in the past. Okay, so that's for the old means of transportation. Okay, and the old means of transportation was slow and not comfortable. It was very stressful. It was not comfortable and it was slow. Imagine having to walk from your home to school every day. Okay, it is stressful, it is slow, and it is not comfortable. Okay, so let's look at the modern means of transportation. That is the way people and goods are moved from one place to another in this new era. Okay, land is still a very good means of transportation now. Okay, it's just that we no longer depend on trekking or animals alone to get to where we want to go to. Okay, now we have bicycles, we have motorcycles, we have tricycles, and we have different types of vehicles. Okay, which all move on land. They all move on land. That is why we group them under land. Okay, so vehicles are fast, but they run on petrol and diesel, which pollutes the environment. You can see an advantage of vehicles is that they are fast, but the disadvantage is that they run on petrol and diesel, which pollute the environment. Okay, we also have this which we use on land. It is trains. We use trains. Okay, it's just that we don't use them on the road. We construct rails on our lands that the trains can move on. Okay, so those are the new ways of moving people and goods from one place to another on land. Okay, now let's look at the new ways of moving people and goods from one place to the other on water. Okay, now we have ship and we have canoes. They move on water. They can transport goods and people from one country to the other across the oceans and the seas. Okay, now let's look at air as a means of transportation. Okay, we have aeroplanes and helicopters. They are very fast. As a matter of fact, the air is the fastest means of transportation. Okay, so the aeroplane and the helicopter are the fastest means of transportation right now. Okay, so now let's look at the differences between the old and the new means of transportation. Okay, the differences between the old and the new means of transportation. The old means of transportation had less accidents. Okay, when you're walking on the road, when you're walking, you'd hardly have accidents. Okay, when everybody was depending on just their food to take them to wherever they wanted to go to, there were less accidents with trekking and riding on animals. Okay, but in the new means of transportation, there is more risk of accidents, as we always hear on page on news every day of one accident or the other, maybe on the road, or even a plane crash or what have you, or a ship capsizing. Okay, now we have the second difference I have here is the old means of transportation is cheap. The old means of transportation is cheap, while the new means of transportation is expensive. Okay, and the third difference is the old means of transportation is not very comfortable. Imagine having to ride on a horse. You need a lot of strength to do that. Or imagine having to trek a long distance. You'd be very tired after trekking and when you get to where you're going to. Okay, but the new means of transportation is comfortable. The new means of transportation is comfortable. Okay, another difference I have is that the old means of transportation is slow. The old means of transportation is slow, and the new means of transportation is fast. Okay, the new means of transportation is fast. Now, in the old means of transportation, there was no pollution. Okay, the old means of transportation did not cause pollution, but the new means of transportation causes a lot of pollution. Okay, so in today's class, we have learned about transportation. We have learned about transportation, the mean of transportation, and the means of transportation, the various means of transportation. Okay, and we have seen the differences between the old and the new means of transportation. Okay, so with that, we have come to the end of the class. Thank you very much for being a part of the class. Thank you for giving me your attention this term. This is our last topic for the term. Thank you very much. Okay, and I hope to see you again next term as we have another interesting time together doing social studies. Okay, so for now, it's do well to prepare for your examinations. I wish you the best of luck. Thank you once more for doing this with me. Bye bye.